I'm honored to be in this historic event, especially this seminal panel. Thankful to Pak Yahya, Holland Taylor, and Tim Shah and other organizers. In 4 days, it will be my 50th birthday. When I was born half a century ago in Turkey, it was the high moment of secularism worldwide as a political trend. And when I decided to become a practicing Muslim, I faced some level of discrimination, and especially my wife, wearing a scarf, faced official discrimination in Turkish secular structure. But gradually, eventually, there is a religious revival worldwide. Hence, it made me happy with the expectation of expanding of religious freedoms. Global changes, including Iranian revolution, the collapse of the Soviet Union, the worldwide decline of socialism, the rise of evangelicals in the United States, religious parties in Israel, BJP in India, and Islamism worldwide. But I am not happy with this religious revival, and I am not alone. When we look at American society in the last 10 years, the percentage of unaffiliated people with no religion jumped from 15% to 25%. In Iran, according to a recent survey, more than half of the people define themselves no longer Muslim. In Turkey, the Director of Religious Affairs, Diyanet, recently admitted that there is a rising deism even in Islamic schools. Why? What's happening? My short answer is politicization of religion. The alliance between clergy and political rulers, especially in authoritarian countries, push young generation to secularism. And this clergy-state alliance has deep historical roots. In the Muslim world, the golden era of science and philosophy between 8th to 12th centuries really ended with the rise of ulama-state alliance. And more recently, with the religious revival I emphasize, we see now the combination of GOP, Republican Party, and evangelicals in the United States, the rise of Hindu nationalism in India, Diyanet as the partner of Tayyip Erdogan's regime in Turkey, Iran ruled by the clergy, LSR part and Grand Mufti part of the Sisi regime, and all of them mean that religion is becoming part of right-wing populism, which brings together religion, nationalism, and a demagogic political leadership. And what about the impact? It's mostly certain danger to religious minorities, and we have been hearing in this panel and others. And when religious minorities persecuted, attacked by right-wing governments, it's mostly secularists defend. In the United States, when Trump pushing the Muslim ban, it was ACLU, the most secularist institution, defend Muslim rights. When in India, Muslims face persecution, it is the secularists in India who defend them. And when Uyghur Muslims in China persecuted, Muslim Islamic governments didn't support them, neither Saudi Arabia, nor Indonesia, nor several other countries, you name it, which gives the idea that secularists are for human rights and minority rights, and religious leaders are mostly for majoritarian domination of their majoritarian religion. So this is truly a challenge, and for me, it may mean the rise of certain level of secularist backlash coming in the future. And the solution, I think this panel asks the rightful question about these concerns. What can we do? What values do our respective traditions need to promote to ensure that religion functions as a source of genuine solution, not problem, in the 21st century? And the panelists already gave excellent answers. They each provided bold and insightful remarks about how to reform Jewish, Mormon, Christian, and Muslim traditions within their own criteria, particularly on the issue of minority rights. They have emphasized that majority religions should defend a moral ground against the persecution of others and religious minorities, so that religious stance would help the establishment of equal citizenship. So I had the privilege to read 4 of the papers before the panel, and if I briefly mention them, Rabbi Professor Ellen Brill and Rabbi Silvina Chaman referred to a seminal reformist document, The Status of Non-Jews in the Jewish Land and Jewish Law, and this document is crucial for the future relations between Jews and non-Jews, particularly Muslims and Christian Arabs. Then Imam Ad-Dararukhnitni explained how Muhammadiyah has pursued a reformist agenda for progressive Islam. And my friend Mas'ulil Ulil Abdullah explained how Indonesia's Nahdlatul Ulama has had a historic initiative, humanitarian Islam, which focuses on rahmah, loosely translated as love and compassion, and it reformed Islamic thought on controversial issues, including equal citizenship and relations with non-Muslims. And this humanitarian Islam was very important for me in the United States when my students were all reading about the Taliban's retaking power in Afghanistan, and the media was full of news about that. The Conversation.com approached me to write and show the diverse visions of Islam, and then I pick up humanitarian Islam with on the 3 issues that try to reform Islamic thought. One issue is the leadership caliphate, emphasizing that modern state with its democratic structure is perfectly fine. The second is the issue of equal citizenship. Non-Muslims should not be discriminated as secondary citizens. And the third issue is the legitimacy of the law parliaments are making without really promoting the Islamist agenda of Sharia-based Islamic state, but legitimizing the secular or parliamentary structure. And then when I teach my students and wrote the article about humanitarian Islam, it really makes them, give them idea that it's not all about Taliban, but there are other visions, and a major vision coming from Indonesia, and hopefully it may have an impact in the long run, even in the Middle East. So the discussions in this panel about reforming religious traditions within themselves, particularly on the issue of minority rights, is very promising and motivating. This is the true direction to make religions function as a source of solution, not a problem, in the 21st century. And my talk has been like a social scientific presentation, and let me conclude with a religious tone and the inclusive message of the Quran, chapter 2, verse 62. Truly those who believe, and those who are Jews, Christians, and Sabians, whoever believes in God and the last day, and whoever does righteous deeds, have their reward with their Lord. No fear shall come upon them, nor shall they grieve. Thank you.